إن علينا للهدى وإن لنا للآخرة والأولى.
The Muslim is fasting from sunset sunrise to sunset, right? Abstaining from food and water, pleasing their Lord. Islamically, that the reward for fasting is only received when you meet Allah, right? So the person fasting has conviction in the Creator, right? Even fasting is hidden. Fasting is an act you cannot see. If I go into a room and I eat, would someone know?
No.
So, right, so there is God consciousness.
Right.
That this gives you taqwa. That is a hidden act, no one can see it. Also, is that it brings you closer to God, right?
Right.
That you know that God can see you and hear you. I know I cannot do this. Why? Because I know that Allah has complete knowledge, is all-seeing, right? So, do you believe in a creator yourself? Do you believe in there's a supreme being?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes. How would you define this being? When you think about this being, how would you define the being?
In my head, it's the being that knows all, that sees all, that does not interact necessarily, but you can interact with him. It's, in my mind, thinking about like a creator. It's more about how you interact with him more than he interacts with you. Like, what interests me is the faith, the absolute belief, the dedication, the devotion to live a lifestyle that is humble. That's what interests me the most.
It's we would say is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that makes it rain. Nothing happens, nothing moves, nothing falls, nothing happens, literally nothing happens without the permission of Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control of his creation. He's the one that gives you sustenance. He's the one that can guide you, yes? Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making everything happen. It's not happening by itself, right? We don't believe that the creator created the universe and then just left it. We believe that he interacts with the creation, right? And also we believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala jalla wa ala is the one that gives life and death, right? So if you're agreeing with this, would you agree?
Yes.
Yes. So if you're agreeing with this, then his name is Allah, right?
Right.
Now Allah is one, uniquely one, independent, free of need, is not a man or a woman.
Right.
Would you agree?
Yes.
It cannot be visualized, cannot be drawn. A supreme being, right? If you agree with this, then this is what the Quran is telling us, and this is who we worship. So you already know who is Allah, right? Now the Quran, it explains further, and the Prophet Muhammad explains further the attributes of God. Allah has 99 names, right? So we can identify with Allah. We can know who is Allah, right? So the revelation informs you more about Allah. In the Quran, we affirm what Allah has affirmed from Himself, and we negate what Allah has negated from Himself. So then it gives you a more higher understanding with Allah. Also, the Quran, it tells you why Allah created you. What's the purpose of your life? What's right and wrong, right? Because how do you know what's right and wrong?
You really don't until you learn. You have to, in my life experience, you have to go through life and learn what is right and wrong. What does the Quran teach us about that? Like, does it just teach you what specifically is haram and halal?
Yes, it gives you laws, right? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Hakim. He is the all-wise, has complete knowledge, right? He knows what is best for his creation. The one that created your chain, right, sets the purpose of the chain, knows what is best for the chain, right? The chain, it does not set its own purpose. It cannot know what is best for itself, right? Because in different places and different societies, you have a different morals, right? For example, you're from America, yes?
Yes.
You have a gun law.
Right.
You can have guns, yeah?
Yeah.
UK, you cannot have guns. Now, someone living in the UK will think people in America are crazy when they carry guns around.
Yes.
Right? And it's absurd. But in America, you can have a gun. It's normal. And there are parties that will say, no, it's our right to have a gun. But you have a problem in America with a gun crime.
Yes.
Right? It is very high.
Yeah.
But you still have political parties that are saying no, we have to have a gun, and it is a benefit. So if morals keep changing from place to place, from culture to culture, for example, there are vegans here.
Right.
Yeah, if we go to Gambia, they say to you, oh, you guys are crazy, man. We've been eating cows and for thousands and thousands of years in our traditions, and they cannot. If they argue, you cannot have a objective thing. You cannot have something truth. So truth, Allah is Al-Haq. So the truth, it can only come from the Creator.
Right.
Because Allah is not restricted by culture, race, time period. 100 years ago, what was right is not right today.
So Allah is like a uniter. Everyone and everything can unite under Allah.
Yes, He gives you the absolute truth. Now the Quran guides you to righteousness. Right? Allah told you what's right and wrong. Right? And then we follow. Because Allah says in the Quran that you might think that something is good for you, but it's bad for you. And you might think that something is bad for you, but it's good for you. But you do not know what Allah knows, right? Right? Because even a phone, if I do not know how to use the phone, I go to the instruction manual. Right? If I do not understand how to use the manual, I go to the Genius bar. Yeah? So then the person in the Genius bar will tell you that you're supposed to do it like this or not like that. So just as an example, so now the Prophet Muhammad is Aisha radiallahu anha, his wife, says the Prophet Muhammad is the walking, talking Quran. Right? So he's the one that will tell you how to implement the Quran, how to live it. Yes? So the Prophet is the one that is an example of righteousness. Yes, Abraham, Moses, and Noah, and they are selected by God. Would you agree that they are prophets?
See, as coming from a Christian house, my father is Roman Catholic, my mother is the American Southern Baptist.
Okay.
I have been taught to not believe that these are prophets, but well.
إن علينا للهدى وإن لنا للآخرة والأولى